It's common knowledge that most foreign nationals in developing countries would choose to work overseas than stay in their home country, and we all know the reasons why. Better job opportunities, personal or professional growth, and of course, higher salary that our country simply cannot provide. So, are you planning to work overseas? Are you planning to work as a care worker here in the land of the rising sun? If you do, then this video is for you. Welcome back to NikkoVenture. But before you go and prepare your things to apply for an overseas job, stop, take a deep breath, and hear me out. Because today, I will give you 6 reasons why you should not work as a caregiver here in Japan. Contrary to popular belief, Japan is not an English-speaking country. Most Japanese in this country don't speak English. Yes, there might be some Japanese somewhere out there that can speak English fluently, but they are extremely rare. And once you work here as a caregiver, there's a huge chance that the Japanese staff, your co-workers, and the elderly who will be under your care don't speak English. That is why most, if not all, Japanese caregiving facilities in this country would require their foreign applicants to study the Japanese language and take a Japanese language test. It's a way for you to prepare yourself and gauge your Japanese language comprehension. Because once you work here as a caregiver, everything, absolutely everything, will be written in Japanese, and everyone, almost everyone, will speak to you in Japanese. This is an example of online documentation in a Japanese caregiving facility. As you can see, everything is written in Japanese. And yes, you also have to do your own documentation once you work here as a care worker in Japan. You will write that documentation, your documentation, in Japanese. So if you're not willing to sacrifice hundreds, if not thousands of hours of your life to study Japanese language, well, don't even bother to apply for a job, for a caregiving job here in Japan. Before applying to a recruitment agency, ask yourself this: why do I want to become a caregiver in Japan? The most obvious answer might be it pays more than being a caregiver in your home country, or perhaps caring for the sick, old, and weary is your passion. Whatever your reason is, make sure that reason is more than enough to push yourself throughout your time here in the land of the rising sun. You see, being a caregiver in Japan will not be easy. Along the way, you will face tribulations, challenges, and difficulties within or outside of your job. That includes workplace bullying, harassment, inability to communicate properly, and meet new people, and of course, homesickness. The worst part is that unless you have a family here in this country, you will face all those things I mentioned and more alone. And if the reason why you want to be a caregiver in this country is not strong enough, you will definitely immediately quit and just go back to your home country the moment the reality of Japan hits you right in the face. That's why before applying for a job, any job overseas, know why you want that job in the first place. Make sure the foundations of your reasoning for becoming a caregiver here in Japan is strong enough that even if you're harassed, bullied, or get severely homesick, your reason alone should be enough to get on your feet and fight on. Hadouken! If you're not sure why you want to be a caregiver in Japan, or you were just influenced or pressured by your friends in becoming a caregiver in Japan, or you just want to be here in Japan to experience these things, then dude, don't be a caregiver in Japan. Come here as a tourist instead. Once you work here as a caregiver, you may find a lot of friends during your time in this country. But behind those silly jokes and peals of laughter, the truth is that, just like you, your friends are also facing difficulties in their life here in this country. Yes, once you get in trouble or you get sick, you may be able to rely on them from time to time and vice versa. But you cannot and should not rely on them every time for every single problem you have. I mean, do you really want your problems to be added to your friends' problems? Come on, have some decency, dude. Don't rely on your friends all the time. Because just like you, they came here to Japan for their own reasons. And that doesn't include looking after your sorry ass all the time. Unless you have a family here in Japan, the only person that you can really rely at any time of the day is yourself. So be independent. Take yourself away from trouble and from things that would make you sick. Be responsible. Don't make excuses. Own it up. If not for your family, at least for yourself. So just stand in the mirror and ask yourself this. Can you rely on the person you're seeing in the mirror right now? If not, then I suggest don't be a caregiver here in Japan. You might not want to swallow, but when it comes to your pride, swallow. Swallow it whole. You might have a very impressive educational background or you might have years of experience as a caregiver in your home country. But when you apply as a caregiver here in Japan, you will start at the very bottom of the corporate ladder. You will have to work your way up if that's your thing, and along the way, you will be asked to do certain tasks that you would never thought you'd do when you were in your home country. Like cleaning other people's toilet bowls and wiping or washing an old man's smelly and dirty ass. Here, you're beneath the driver, the laundry attendant, and the janitorial staff. It may be not so on paper, but it is so in company politics. Yes, there is an unspoken hierarchy in a Japanese caregiving company. And yes, you will be at the very bottom of that hierarchy when you come here. You may have higher salary than the persons I just mentioned, but they were here first. And they are Japanese. Those are the only reasons they need for you to become their kohai, regardless of rank and salary. This might not sit with you well, but you don't really have any choice here, dude. Always practice humility and remember that being prideful or boastful will not only make it difficult for you to get along with your Japanese coworkers, but it will also get you in trouble in so many ways because of this thing called Japanese pride. It's a phenomenon here in this country where the natives see themselves above or several ranks higher than those people with different nationalities. It's not as rampant and severe compared to the time of the Japanese Empire, but believe me or not, it is still here. Do not antagonize the Japanese pride. Just don't. Just do your job, get paid, and go home. Let them be. If you cannot swallow your pride or you can't do those things I just mentioned, it might be better for you to not work here. Squeamish means. So, if you cannot stand the sight of blood, shit, piss, and other gross bodily fluids, caregiving here in Japan might not be the job for you. Why? Remember that here as a caregiver, you will take care of old Japanese people. Very old people. These old people will not have any control over some of their body functions. That includes their ability to control the urge to take a shit or piss. As a result, these old people may take their shit or may take a shit or piss everywhere inside the facility. And who will clean that? Yes, you, the caregiver. Janitors may be hired by the company, but they will not always be there. You, on the other hand, will always be there. Adult diapers should also be replaced regularly. And who will replace those diapers filled with urine and watery stools? Yes, again, you, the caregiver. As a person who have been changing diapers for around 4 years now, I can attest that paddokokan is not a task for squeamish people. Those are just some of the things that you will encounter in your job as a caregiver here in Japan. But remember this, there are still things worse than what I just described. Caregiving is a dirty job, literally. Encountering shit every day is normal. So, if you cannot handle that, find another job. For those people who will work overseas for the very first time, know that working in a foreign land will always require sacrifices. Note the letter S. Not just for yourself, but for the very reason why you went abroad in the first place. It doesn't matter what your reason is. What matters is that you are willing to sacrifice for that very reason. The sacrifices I'm talking about here will vary depending on your circumstance. In my case, I was not there when my daughter was born. I was also not there when she took her first step and said her first word. I am unable to spend more time with my wife. Also, I am unable to be with my parents as they spend their remaining time on this planet. Just let that sink in. In other words, when you work abroad, whatever your country you want to work in, you will have to make the hardest decisions and the most painful of sacrifices. All the while facing all the challenges and difficulties of living in a foreign land. And you will do those things and more alone. If you cannot do that and you're just content of being within your comfort zone, don't work overseas. But if you're willing to sacrifice and do what must be done to achieve your goals, then remove yourself from that comfort and open that door of the unknown. After all, your success might just be on the other side of that door. So, if you're ready, go ahead and open that door. So that's it. Those were some of the reasons why you must not work here in Japan as a caregiver. If after hearing all those things and you still want to be a caregiver here in Japan, I wish you all the best in your endeavor. However, if after watching this video you've changed your mind about becoming a caregiver here in the land of the rising sun, there will be no judgments. It's your life, and who will decide what's best for your life? You. Because at the end of the day, if you decide to work here as a caregiver, you will be the one who will face all the challenges and difficulties here in this country, not us. You know the drill. If you enjoyed this video or learned something from this video, please do leave a like, comment, and of course, share this video with an interested friend. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for your time watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye.